Hey there class, Mr. Johnston here. Happy to see y'all, and I hope your e-learning classes are going well. And today I'm here to teach y'all how to give your instrument a bath. So we already know our maintenance Monday stuff. So we have our slide oil, our slide cream for our bones. We have our slide grease for our tuning slides, and our valve oil for our valve threads with the buttons. But it's important to make sure we clean the inside of our instrument too, to make sure it keeps playing nice and pretty for you. And you're only going to need a couple of things for that. We're going to need a mild soap, like a Dawn dish soap. And you're also going to need this thing called a snake. It's the thing with the two brushes on the end. And this is for cleaning out the inside of the tubing. If you don't have one of these, it's not the end of the world. Besides these two things, you're just going to need 1 or 2 towels, a washcloth, and a bathtub. And obviously you're going to need your instrument. So once you got all those things put together, let's get started. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do when you have your trumpet out in the water is you're going to make sure you start taking it apart. We don't want to put these parts, the valves, into the water. So we're going to make sure these come out. Have the one valve. Make sure you set it aside in a place where you know it's in the right order. These have little corks up in here that you can see up in this part that we don't want to get wet, so we want to make sure that these get put aside away from the water. And then you have to take off the bottom caps. These will have little springs. You can keep the springs out and set them aside. And put the valve caps in the water. Alright, so you got your trumpet, no valves in there, you can see straight through that. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to start taking out your slides. If you use grease, this shouldn't be too hard. So this is your first valve slide. I'm going to set that about where it would be on the trumpet. You'll notice that I'm putting these in the water in the order that I took them out. And then your tuning slide. You put that right in there. And then take the rest of the trumpet, and it's just going to take a little bath. I'm going to let that sit in there for about 15-20 minutes. I'm going to take a nice clean washcloth, like this. Mine's got some stains on it from prior cleaning, but it's clean, I promise. I'm going to start taking each of the slides out. I'm going to start wiping them down, getting all the old grease off of there. There shouldn't be any leftover grease on there. And then you're just going to repeat that with all of these. So this is an older trumpet, so it's not going to look bright, shiny, and brand new. That's okay. Next thing you can do is you can wipe down all the rest of these little pieces. These end caps here. These are always good to wipe down because they can get oil stuck up in them. Alright, so now that you got the little pieces out of the way, you can take the full trumpet out. There's going to be a little bit of soapy water in there, and that's alright, it'll rinse out in the end. Get the rest of that water off. And start rubbing that down, getting all your old fingerprints off. Making sure to use parts of the washcloth that you don't have any grease on, because you don't want to wipe grease all over. Now this guy's not going to look bright, shiny, and brand new. And that's just a fact, because it's pretty old. But if you get a nice new trumpet, it'll look bright and shiny after that. Now that we've cleaned the outside, go ahead and take out your snake. Looks a little bit like this, with the 2 different brush types on it. And then gently, very gently, use this conical end, the one that looks like a little Christmas tree, and use that to clean the inside if you push it in and it gets stuck, you don't want to keep pushing. You want to make sure you pull it back out. They won't always get through the tight curves, and that's okay. It doesn't have to go all the way through. Alright, so it might be a little gross when you pull it out, so I'd recommend holding it closer to the water and rinsing your brush out every single time. Now that you've gotten all the slides done, you can go ahead and do this big part of the instrument. This is called the lead pipe. The lead pipe is what you blow into with your mouthpiece. With this one, you can see that snake will go all the way through. See it come out that other end? Alright, you can pull it all the rest of the way through so you don't put any of that gross stuff back into the slide. You want to be careful because sometimes it'll splatter on you. It's always good not to wear nice clothes when you're doing this. You can do that a couple of times. And we got the rest of these. These are going to be more greasy than the other ones because this is where your slides go and that's where your slide grease goes. So you're going to want to make sure you rinse off after each one of these. Alright, you can go ahead and dump that in the water. And dump all that gunk out of there. Alright, and you got your valves. This is where your valves go, 1, 2, and 3. This rounded side brush is good for that. You're going to want to make sure that you're very careful to gently clean these out, because you don't want to accidentally scratch the inside of here. You have a nice clean trumpet. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to drain the tub and then rinse everything off. Trumpet is out of our bath. We're going to need these two things right here for assembly. And assembly is just putting it all back together. It should be all rinsed off and dried off at this point. What you're going to do is you're going to start with the slides. And get a little bit, just the tiniest little bit of the slide grease, putting it up on the edge here. You only need to put it up on this part and up, because it'll slide down the rest of it when you put the slide in. Alright, now that we've got our slides all back in place here, we can go ahead and start with the valves. We'll start with the valve caps. You're going to put your spring back on in there. Now that our valve caps are on, you're going to see that we have our valves. I took them out and I set them down in order. You can tell because the number for the valve is stamped on the inside and here on this valve. It will probably be around here on the outside, but just making sure that you line that back up correctly. And all you gotta do is put some oil back on these valves and just put them back in the valves. And if you find it easier, you can also put it in and then put this oil on there like you would during your maintenance Monday. And there you go. It's a nicely clean trumpet, all oiled and greased up and ready to play. Thanks for following along, guys. Keep on practicing.